Hi guys, welcome to the new video of this Linux Pro series. This is the continuity, the continuity video of the last video. So in the last video, we are discussing use hard disk. As a human, we can't use the hard disk directly, so we have to create some, but we have to follow some particular rules. The first rule we saw that create a partition, and we discussed multiple things there, like what are the type of partitions, primary, what is extended, why we use extended to create a logical partition, what is logical partition. So this is all we discussed in the last video, and why we need to create a partition, that's also we discussed. And second step also we discussed. So there are three steps. I explained you in the last video in very detail what are the three steps or the rules we have to always follow if you want to use any hard disk or any block device. So the second rule or the second step that we already discussed is formatting a partition. And in the last video, if you gone through that video, formatting a partition also we discussed, and we saw that there are various type of file systems or format types, ext3, ext4, and the overview of the basic on the like 10,000 feet of overview, we saw that what are the differences between this format types, what is XFS, VFAT, multiple things, and why we need to create a format, why we need to format a partition also we also discuss in very detail. If you want to give a general idea here, so creating inode table, we have for creating an inode table in a hard disk, we have to format a partition. Now in this video, we're going to discuss the step number third or the rule number third. That's after formatting and after creating partition, we have to mount that partition on some folder, because as a human we can only access files and folder in the operating system. So we're going to discuss two commands. First is mount, second is umount. What is the use of them, we'll discuss one by one. But the mount command you can think of like it's telling kernel to attach the device or the partition with the drive that we are passing. That's the use of mount command. Now let's move and show it to you. Okay, so mount, if I use -l option in this mount, it shows me all the file systems that are mounted. Okay, these are the file systems that are mounted on some C. If you see this dev sr0, it's mounted on some this particular folder, type is this, and it's mounted with these options. What are those options? Again we will discuss. But if you remember, dev sr0 is a ISO device that we attach to install the operating system. If I show you the same thing, see again dev sr0 here, you can compare the mount path also. Okay, this is one option of mount. Second, I want to see only specific type of file systems, like I want to see ext4, or I want to see ISO, or I want to see, let's say, tempfs. See, these all are mounted with the type tempfs. So also we can use mount command to filter out the things. And in the last video, what we done is, let me give you a very quick recap. So we have a device, a hard drive that is named SDB. We created three partitions. Dev SDB1, 2, these are primary, third is extended, fourth we created logical. Now we're gonna see how to mount this SDB1 on some folder. But before that, if I show you, nowhere you can see here the SDB, because we not mounted yet. Okay, that's why even though we don't mount it, so we can't access the drive. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing mount. The syntax of mount command is mount options and the device, okay, and the directory on which we have to mount. So this is the option of or the syntax of mount command. So I'm doing mount, I'm doing dev sdb1, okay, and directory. So obviously if directory is not there, we have to create a directory, correct? Even though, see, it is saying that can't mount because we just given this drive name. Let me tell you this thing also, it's come up. So etc fstab is the next video of us, but I given you a brief overview in the last session that etc fstab is for mounting the partitions permanently. So if we directly give mount and the device name, it will check this file for mounting. In this file we can explain the details like what is the name of partition, where to mount, like which options we have to mount with this type of this partition. So if here we give a place or directory, like on this directory please mount my system, and only on the terminal if you pass like mount and the drive name or the device name, so it will automatically pick this name from here. But it's not like that in our case. So what I'm doing is I'm doing mkdir please mount. It is nothing but a folder only. So I'm writing a name mount dev sdb, it's created, and if I show you mount, nothing is here, correct? What I'm doing is now mount please mount my SDB1 on the folder called mount dev SDB. Okay. Now after just a mounting, as a human that we can access only files and folder, we can access this hard drive also. See, it's mounted. Even if I show you here, somewhere you can see it. See, and in the last video, if you remember, we created this partition with ext4. Let me mount. Let me give it 2. Array, man, I want to create this. Okay, 2. Then I'm mounting this SDB2 on mount dev SDB2. Now, if you remember the last video, we created second partition with the type called XFS. So, C XFS. So that's how it will work. Now we can go inside this mount. Let's say dev SDB. If I do ls, no file is here. Leave lost plus found. This is for different thing, but no file is here. So I can create new file. That okay. This is content from dev SDB1 partition. I'm writing this. Okay. Now what is the use of mounting? I will explain you in a minute. But yeah, we created this file, and if you get this, it's there. Okay. Now there are many options we can use. Many options is available in mount that we can use, and for that option we have to use -o. Then the list of options. Then again a device and the directory name. I'm not gonna explain you these options. In the exam, the one question comes with that you have to mount some device with these particular options. So we'll discuss those in the bootcamp, but as of now I'm not discussing the options, but I opened up one link for you guys. See, these are the options that we can use: owner, cloud, silent, remount, lazy time, no, strict time. Multiple options are there. So you can check this manual out, and accordingly you can use in your projects or in your company accordingly which options to mount. Okay. So this is one thing. The next command we have is umount. So if you want to unmount the file system or this partition, you have to use umount, and the syntax is umount, and the options and the directory name on which the thing is mounted or the partition is mounted. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna explain you this two options of this. So by default, umount works like umount, and I'm giving mount dev SDB2. Okay, done. If you see df-st, the entry is removed. The next option of umount we can use is -f. It's not a recommended practice because if you use -f means -force option. If you unmount the partition forcefully, so maybe some read and write option is going on in the partition. Let's say this is the partition and some read write is going on, and maybe that read write is very critical, or those are like say bank records. Okay, so if bank records are going on as a read write, and if you forcefully unmount this drive or the folder, those records will be corrupted or something may happen. So it's not recommended to use -f option. But in some cases, if you are doing some only POC or the testing, you can use this -f option. That's why I told you this option -f. Second option we have is -l, that is lazy. So what you can do is umount -l, then the directory you can give. So when no read write is going on, this -l option will unmount this automatically. So let's see that option. -l, I am giving mount dev SDB. If I use df-st, as of now, no transaction is going on in this particular folder. So that's why it's automatically unmounted. The next thing I want to tell you is I am creating one more new mount in the slash new mount. So mounting, what I want to prove you here is mounting a folder or creating a folder is just like creating a folder, or mounting is just like a middleman. Now what kind of middleman is, like if you want to access the hard disk, you need some middleman, that is OS. But if you want to interact or store data or retrieve data or want to do some data operations on the data stored in the hard disk, for that also you need middleman. So that middleman is that folder, because that folder is allowing us you to interact with that hard disk partitions or hard disk data. That's why it's middleman. No other use of the folder mounting. That's it. To interact with the data and do data operation, you have to create a folder and interact with the devices. That's it. Now how I can prove you is this. I created this, and if I go to this new mount, no file is there, and if I do df-ht, no data or no devices is mounted. Before, if you remember, I mounted the dev SDB1 on some folder called some folder we created. So on that we mounted. But now I created this new folder. So I'm mounting on this new mount. And if I do ls now, 1 second, it's created on new mount. If I go to this new mount, see, file automatically come up in this folder. I don't created this file manually in this folder. I just mounted that hard disk to this folder, so that proves, so this file is stored in hard disk, but the folder is the only way, or act as a middleman only to access the data inside those partitions of the drives. Doesn't matter what is the name of the folder, before that is another, now it's different, so doesn't matter the name of folder. The folder is only used to access the data and do the data operations on the data that is stored on the hard disk or the partitions. So that's proved by default, but the data is getting stored in the hard disk, because even though I change the name, the data come up. So that's all about the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or post your doubts in the comment box. Thank you.